Hi, thanks for your interest in DukeEngage. In this online information session, we're going to talk a little bit about what DukeEngage is and what our service themes are for the upcoming summer. We're going to talk about the different types of projects that we offer, group programs and independent projects, and how do you decide between them, U.S. programs and international programs. And we're going to talk a little bit about whether DukeEngage is for you or not. We're going to cover some important dates and a little bit about the application process. I'm Kristen Wright. I'm one of the assistant directors with DukeEngage. I work with group programs led by Duke faculty members.
I'm Thomas Phillips. I primarily work with independent projects, and I also work with other group programs that are not led by Duke faculty.
DukeEngage ran its first full summer in 2007, so this will be our 10th year, and so far over 3,600 Duke students have participated, and they have worked with nearly 600 community organizations on 6 continents.
So you may ask yourself, what exactly is civic engagement, and what do we mean by that? For DukeEngage, civic engagement is not just volunteering, and it's not just learning or participating in an internship, but really it's about reciprocity. It's about making a difference and learning, both improved through the collaboration. So what does this look like? Well, it's volunteering instead of pre-professional training or an internship and study abroad, which we get no academic credit. It's also community-based research instead of traditional academic research. So the questions come from the community and the results return to the community, and the knowledge is generated for practical purposes. It's also immersion instead of tourism through homestays, enrichment activities, and other things that you'll do with DukeEngage.
DukeEngage is a chance to immerse yourself in a community and to make a contribution there. It can also be a chance to explore your academic interests. There are several academic programs at Duke to which you can apply DukeEngage experiences for credit or for the beginning of other types of projects like honors theses. It's also, of course, a way to explore the social issues that you're interested in and really dive into the context surrounding those issues. And of course, it's a chance to grow personally and professionally.
You'll hear us talk a lot about community partners. We see them as colleagues, as co-educators, and their organizations as places where you will contribute and learn. They are the center of what we do and your primary link to the local community. You'll hear us use words like respect, humility, asset-based thinking. In addition to extra help and capacity building, many partners participate because they want to contribute to your education as co-educators, to develop the profession, and they want to have a partnership with the institution. Partnerships are selected by program leaders in group programs and by you in independent projects. Community partner organizations must be not-for-profit organizations that do not have a partisan agenda. Hospitals and clinics may also be suitable community partners. However, students may not participate in patient care. We'll say more about group programs or independent projects in subsequent slides. But one thing to note about the program, it is fully funded. It includes your travel, vaccinations, visas, accommodations, and your meals. There also is the waiver of the summer earnings requirement. You can't make money doing DukeEngage, but all of your costs will be covered.
So the majority of students participate in one of our group programs. There are 38 in 2017. And they are all either created and led by a Duke faculty member or senior staff member in collaboration with community members and organizations, or they've been created by an outside organization that DukeEngage has contracted with because they specialize in offering the type of experience that we're interested in, including that focus on strong partnerships, and they work in an area where we may or may not have a faculty member working. If you're just beginning to think about which DukeEngage program you might be a good fit for, or even if you think you have a pretty good idea about that, we would really encourage you to think first and foremost about the same thing we do when we're considering a new program, and that is what the daily work will be focused on. This project themes list, which I'm just flashing through right now, is on our website on the Immersion Programs page, and each of our group programs focuses on at least one of these themes, which are listed on the website. One thing to note is that some programs, the entire group is doing one kind of work, like teaching or conservation or engineering, and those programs tend to have one really cohesive theme. In other programs, students are volunteering in several different types of organizations, and these may have multiple themes. So again, this is what we encourage you to focus on. If you do, you might discover programs and projects in locations that you might otherwise have not considered.
For our independent projects, the students will collaborate with a community partner, a volunteer sending organization, or Duke faculty and staff. They will mentor you in helping you develop this project, and you also can have up to 3 students per site, but your applications will be considered separately. This is very doable because we will work closely with independent project applicants through advising. In fact, we require at least 1 advising appointment. The deadline for that appointment is January 13th. So you may be asking yourself, is this right for me? We have a lot of questions that you should consider before you decide, yes, I'm definitely going to apply. We cover most of them in an FAQ list on our website, but basically the most important things to know are you're eligible if you're a first year, sophomore, or a junior in good standing with the university, and if you will be enrolled at Duke the semester after you return. DukeEngage is one good way to immerse yourself in a community and make a contribution there. It can also be a great way to explore an academic interest, like public health, or economic development, education, or a social issue like immigration or conservation. It may fulfill major or certificate requirements, so you would want to contact your individual departments. It's almost certainly going to be an extraordinary challenge that pushes you to grow personally as well as academically.
There are also some specific personal qualities that would make you a good candidate for DukeEngage, and we would encourage you to reflect on these. It's necessary to be ready to adhere to the values and protocols of DukeEngage and your host organization and the community that you might be immersed in, and just to live up to the commitments that you make. You need to be willing to stretch yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to go to the most remote place you can imagine. This just means that you recognize that no matter which program you do, you'll likely be stepping outside your comfort zone to some degree, and you're prepared to learn some new coping strategies and to seek help when you feel overwhelmed. You need, of course, to be able to work well in a work environment. The central feature of DukeEngage is the work you'll be doing, and it's full-time work. So it's important to be able to do things like take direction from a supervisor, be a self-starter when that's appropriate, seek and receive feedback, and just be patient and persistent when you encounter obstacles. It's also necessary to be ready to learn how to respectfully communicate and interact with people of different ages, races, religions, and cultures. You want to bring curiosity without passing judgment. And in order to do that, it's important to be aware of how others may view you and to have an understanding of your strengths and weaknesses and be able to articulate your own beliefs and values that you're bringing to the program. Duke students are very good at being goal-oriented. Just as important as that, it is also really important to be realistic and humble and flexible, given the reality that you'll be doing a short-term project in an unfamiliar setting.
So maybe DukeEngage is not quite right for you with the following thoughts. The concept of voluntourism has rightly received a lot of criticism in recent years, and we want you to know that that is not what DukeEngage is intended to be. For one thing, you'll be working 40 hours a week with only minimal time for sightseeing. If you're in a group program, enrichment is chosen with specific learning outcomes in mind. Also, we try very hard to make sure our programs are community-driven, which means the communities are the ones voicing their needs and desires. The intention is that you're there to use your skills, not to move around doing whatever sounds fun to you. If you've always wanted to go to Costa Rica or Thailand, but you have no interest in conservation work, or Cape Town, but you're uncomfortable talking about race and inequity, then maybe those programs aren't right for you. As we said earlier, start with the themes that appeal to you and not the locations. Also, check your assumptions about what you can bring to this experience. We promise you, these communities have been working for a long time on these issues, and they have incredible strengths and expertise. So ask yourself, where can you fit in with that? Because if they could have figured it out a long time ago, they would have. The last thing might be surprising. The desire to change the world is often considered admirable, but we want you to have reasonable expectations. You'll be there for 8 weeks in the life of a community. You may not see immediate results from your work or produce a tangible outcome by the end of the program, but you are contributing to an ongoing effort. And part of that is your own development as a global citizen. That's why our motto is not challenge yourself, change the world, but rather change your world.
So let's cover a few nitty-gritty details. Some of this is available on our website, but we'll try to offer some tips here. First of all, you can apply to up to 2 group programs. If you do, one of them must be within the U.S., or you can apply to an independent project.
Our key dates and deadlines are on the website. If you subscribe to our email list, which you can do from the website, we'll send you reminders about the most important dates, and we'll also post reminders on the Facebook page. Application questions are posted in a PDF on our website, and you can look at them, but we also encourage you to go ahead and start an application or at least create a profile. It's very important to note that you should draft your responses in a Word document and then cut and paste. Sometimes there are issues with formatting or issues with characters that suddenly become a question mark, and you wouldn't want to be at the last minute trying to make those changes. So do that with plenty of time in advance. Read over everything before you submit, and also get it done early and leave yourself several hours just in case there's an internet connection problem or if those formatting issues pop up. Also, you may be invited for an interview at any time before acceptance notifications.
So, U.S. or international programs. We realize that a lot of students think only about international programs at first, partly based on our deadlines, but we would really encourage you to look at our U.S.-based programs as well as you make your decisions about what to apply for. For one thing, the U.S. is the place that many of us will live out our lives as engaged citizens. So it's a good place to begin and end your civic engagement experience. Another thing is that we've found that U.S. partner organizations are more likely to resemble future work settings. So participants in U.S. programs are sometimes more likely to report things like increased confidence in a work setting or improved time management skills. They often say that the U.S. programs help them develop their career aspirations more so than our international participants do. If you're not open to applying to a U.S. program, we just encourage you to ask yourself why that is. It could be that you're really wanting to learn more about a particular culture or area of the world, and that's understandable. But if you're seeking an exotic adventure somewhere else in the world, then that may not be in line with the spirit of DukeEngage.
So you may ask yourself, should I do a group program or an independent project? With a group project, you'll work with other Duke students, you'll have less project development, but you'll have a strong support network within that group and also with the Duke program staff. With an independent project, you may be thinking, well, I really like this group program, but I don't have those language skills. So in that case, you could find a community partner and develop something that allows you to pursue your passion. These are very doable. Lots of independent projects have happened before this year, and many of those partners would like to see another DukeEngage student return. So check out the Indy webpage and look for examples. In our research, we found that independent project participants are more likely to connect their projects to their academic path. So maybe your major, your course choices, or through the research that you do. We've also reported higher gains in leadership skills, changing the worldview more often than happens in our group programs. And this also could provide some great insight to your career path. Supervisors have also reported more significant impacts and satisfaction through the independent projects than the group projects.
So, how do you decide? Just to summarize some things here, start with the service themes, and this could be population or location of interest, but make sure that's an intellectual interest for you. And then read the profiles closely. Each program profile on our webpage has a PDF document that's linked from there that you should study carefully. And look at things like the dates. Does this program work with any other obligations you may have next summer? Are there prerequisites that you need to meet? And then think about, who would I really be working with in this program? What population, what organizations, and what would I be doing? You can get a sense from the profile usually about whether the service activities are more sort of direct service, working closely with community members, or sort of behind the scenes administrative or project-based work, and think about which one suits your interests. You can also usually get a sense of the level of independence you'd have in a particular program. So is this group working all at one site? Are they living together? Or are they placed individually or in pairs like other programs? Are they living separately in homestays? And then you can think about the living conditions. Are you up for staying in dorms? Are you up for staying in homestays? Are you up for staying in tents? We want to make sure you can handle what you're applying for. We do offer 2 DukeEngage weeks, and these are a series of 30-minute information sessions about each individual program and about independent projects. That has already happened for our international programs and independent projects this year. It happened last week in October. And the upcoming DukeEngage week for U.S. programs will be in January. If you're unable to attend these, or if you're looking for immediate information, feel free to contact the program director who's listed on the website. We also offer drop-in advising in October, November, December, and January, or students considering independent projects can schedule appointments whenever it's convenient for them. If you're off campus, just feel free to email us and request a Skype session.
Hopefully you're beginning to get a sense of what DukeEngage is all about. We'd also encourage you to talk with students who already have participated in DukeEngage. The DukeEngage Guides are students who have participated in DukeEngage and have returned to work with our office as advisors and ambassadors for the program. You can reach out to them through our website. If there's not a guide associated with the program you're interested in, send us an email and we'll put you in touch with another student.
Most programs also maintain student blogs, so you can read last year's students' reflections and get a sense of what that program was like straight from them and in their own words.
That's all from us. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop us a line. Best of luck with your application and let us know how we can help.